everyone, it's Aperture Dave here again, and I'm back for another crafty video. So, this time we're going to make some of these secret aperture cards. So they're basically they're layered to give you that impression of depth and looking down, although they're fairly thin. This is made from just book paper. This time, because I've got a project in mind, all I've done is I've backed my book paper onto some card so that I can create the look that I want. Well, I'm hoping it'll be the look that I want. It might be the look that I don't want, who knows. So I thought, I'd bring you along and we'd make one of these together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. So what I'm going to do is just pick a book page that I want. So these are dictionary cards, pages. So I just wanted something that didn't have anything like too macabre on it on the front or anything like that. So that's fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to tear it. Now, which is the best way to do it? Well, it's entirely up to you. But I start at the front and work my way back, although you can start at the back and work your way forward. So I'm going to start at the front, like I've just said, and all I need to do to start it off is I need to find my scalpel, which is over here, and all I'm going to do, to make it easier for me to tear, I'm just going to put a line through the middle of it. Now this is lucky because I've got a line in the middle anyway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start tearing from here. So you kind of have to decide how big do you want your aperture to end up, how many layers are you going to have, and the number of layers might change as you go down and think, actually I want it to be deeper, etc. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just start tearing, and I'm going to tear kind of not really an oval, not really a square, not really a rectangle. It's just a shape, and I want to make it interesting. And the other thing I like about having it on a background is it gives you almost like another layer, like a faux layer. And you create the shape that you want to create. And there is no right or wrong. There's no nobody can tell you what you wanted to achieve. So what you want to achieve, sorry. So I'm just going to tear it out and I'll see if it's kind of what I wanted. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so then I go from here, and what I do is, to make it easier for me, I lay it over the next page. Try and get it so that they're kind of lined up, and then this time I'm going to cut from, I want to leave a bit of a space at the top and a bit of space at the bottom, so I'm going to cut the line, the middle line, to about where I want the ends of the aperture to be. So this time, it's like last time I tore up and then round, I'm just going to tear from here sideways. And it might be that when you tear it, that you tear further over here and it disappears behind it. That's absolutely fine. You don't, you're creating that look of like you're looking into a lost world, and it's like a secret something going on inside you, so it's going to be very natural looking. So can't really explain what I'm trying to say, but hopefully you understand, because otherwise if you're waiting on me give you any I can't speak. If you're waiting on me to give you any ideas or give you an insight into what I'm trying to say, then you're going to be waiting a long time. So now what you can do is you can layer it over. Is that what you wanted? Did you want it to look a bit different to that? I'm going to tear it a little bit further up on this corner so that it kind of disappears off. I'd like it to kind of disappear behind maybe a bit more then. Otherwise it looks too perfect. Hard to explain what I mean by that, but I'd like it to just like that, so that it disappears behind there, so it looks a bit more natural looking. Okay, so now put that face down. It's much easier when you've got something on one side. You know which side this is the side that is the shape that you wanted. When I was using the book page and I was turning it down, and then I forgot whether I was turning it face down or whether it was turning it face up, and it all got a bit messy. So now this time I'm going to use this one to give me an idea of the next layer. Okay, so for some reason she who shall not be named has just come on in the bedroom from me saying the next layer. Obviously thinks that I was calling her, but I wasn't. Don't know why I bothered calling it her, because it's got a man's voice now. So, although 21st century, that's why, Dave. You can be anything you want to be. So let me go a little bit further down on this bit here. And obviously you can keep these pieces and use them in collaging or whatever it is you want to do with them, or you might just want to throw them away. It's entirely up to you. Again, lay it over. Is it what you wanted? Do you want something to look a bit different? I think I might want it a little bit higher up on this bit here, but not overly so. Lay it over. It's some might say it's fiddly, others might say it's a process. So you decide. Okay, so, and this time instead of having a backing paper, I'm just going to leave it with an aperture and decide what I want in the back. So again, on this layer, I'm going to cut to about the distance I want it from this layer. I might change that in a minute, but that's turning into a human being, that shape. There's a lot of quiet Dave going on at the moment, so that's absolutely fine. Organically turned into like what looks like a boot, or Sicily, or no, Italy. Sicily is off the thing. So there we go. So these are the layers that we've got, and like I say, with that extra doubling. So because this is what I would just want to explain this, because I've glued this down to a book page. What I've done is, as I've torn it up, and what it's done is it's separated the two layers. But because you're lifting it up, it lifts the top layer off as you rip it off. So that's why you've got this extra layer. If I was tearing it and I was tearing it down, then and this is the side that we're keeping, when you tear it down, you'd end up with just the book page. The bit that you're tearing off is the... So that's how you get that effect. So these are the layers that we're going to have, okay? And I want to decide what I want to have in it. So this is when you start having to piece it together and decide what you'd like to see, etc. Now I know that these have got white lines around them, and I can choose to remove those as we go, or not, depending. I've got some of these, and whether these are... I might cut that out. I could cut that out, couldn't I? So you kind of have to remember that things like mushrooms and that sort of thing don't fly in the air, so they won't be up here, although they could be that way. So you're trying to create a little scene, is what? No, so don't go out and create a scene. Stay in, create a scene in your own home. So, but not with your partner. No, I don't really like that. I don't like the pattern on that. It makes me feel a bit freaked out, maybe, is the word. Maybe like that. I know what I thought I might do is cut this out. So this is some of the tea bag paper that we did before. And I'm going to cut this butterfly out, and I'm going to use this, a bit like you would do with like a vellum butterfly. I'm going to cut this out. Which side shall I have it? I have it up there, yeah. So I'm going to cut the side out that you're going to see any bits that you're not going to see. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to stick them under the layers. Just get around this. I might have to forgo his antenna because antennae. I don't know. I don't know. How do you spell it? How do you say it? Antennae, antenna. Because I can't really see where they are, so I might just cut something, even though that's not where they are, because that's clearly I'm not cut round anything, so that he's got a fighting chance of being able to see what he's doing, and then just colour it in. Although I'm not sure whether you can see them in flight. Tuck them back, like, you know, like, I'm not suggesting they're like aircraft undercarriage, but not tuck them back out of the way while they're in flight. I don't know. I've not got close enough to a butterfly to, well, for many, many years I've not got close enough to a butterfly. That's probably because there aren't many butterflies around these days. I don't know where they all are. So I'm going to cut that off like that. I'm going to have this out, it's hanging out like this. Okay, so I'm going to colour those. I'm going to colour those in. Those little antennae. I will find a pen with which to do such things. Make them kind of black. Tap that off so it doesn't look quite so obvious. So you're just kind of creating a bit of a look, and you want to make sure that you're putting things in different layers. So for instance, I might have these further back in this layer. Yeah, and maybe this one in this layer. So what you're trying to do is create an image that you like. Don't overdo it. I do think, I will be very honest with you, and you know, I'm always terribly honest. I do think I kind of overdid it on that one, and we're going to not overdo it this time. Less is more. More is more. More is less. Whatever. What else do I have? I might have some flowers, or maybe a bit of foliage. I'm actually struggling for foliage though, so I've used a lot of foliage. I want to use. I'm not really that keen on the really shiny things. That's my problem. Well, not all of my problem. My problems don't end there, I'm afraid. Might have maybe a little branch. Maybe that would be enough. Or I could have a little. See, maybe that could be enough. Or I could just have more. But you do whatever you want to do. You have more or less. You choose. It's your thing. And if you've got some, I prefer them if they're paper cutouts, but I don't have any paper foliage. I've only got this shiny stuff. And now we can always map that down, and I may well do that. Let's see if I've got any leaves on this. Oh, look, there's. Oh, I said about leaves. What are they? Are they just leaves? You know, it's funny, but you don't actually look at what all the ephemera you've got, do you? Well, I don't, certainly. I don't sit there and delve through all the ephemera that I might possibly have. Oh, these are leaves. Oh, good. Oh, there's actually some, maybe that would be nice. Bit of, maybe, I don't know. Let's put it in place and see whether we like it. I quite like it. You don't necessarily see the orange on it. Now that's more uppy, downy. Well, that's a massive piece of fruit. Possibly that. What else we got? Does that? Well, I didn't even know that I'd got these. I remember Brian buying me a whole. He brought me all of the ephemera that you can see here. So, you know, Christmases and that sort of thing. when they come round. Maybe those. Anyway, let's put these away, Dave, because you can't stick them all on. And we'll have a look at those in a second. Put these. I'm going to put them at the front, actually, because it's foliage and I wanted foliage. I think I remember having that conversation with him when he was buying me Christmas presents, and it must have been a couple of Christmases ago, because it certainly wasn't this Christmas. And I think I remember saying to him, what I really want is, well, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wasn't a Spice Girl, by the way. Possibly that. Okay, I think I might use that. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm just going to put that to one side, and I just want to matte this down because it's too shiny for me. So I do have, this is the thing, I did have, maybe, did, matte medium I've got, collage medium, and I do have some clear gesso, which I wasn't planning to use, so might not just be at hand. What's this? Pretty clear gesso, there we go. Let's use some of this. I think this gives it more of a matte finish than matte medium. Just my preference is all. Don't get me wrong, I like matte medium. I'm just not for this project. So I need to find some way of getting this out of here without it going everywhere. There we go, like that. Did I shake it? It's always a good idea to shake it. I'm going to shake it and then do it again, because then what you're doing is the bits that make it matte, the particles in it, come to the surface. So let's just find out which side is the sticky side and which side is the, I've done this before, yeah, okay, it's that side. I've painted the wrong side before. So I don't have to worry about it all, because some of it will be behind the layer. So I'm just going to paint that on. And then just leave it to dry a bit. I'm just going to pop that over there. Okay, so the other thing you could do is, I know that should really go in water, but I don't have any. I've got some root beer, which I'm going to try not to clean my brush in, which that's gone wrong before. So, okay, so yeah, so you just need to make sure that you don't go too matte. Then the next thing you want to do is, once you start thinking about where you're going to have things, is take the other layers off. And the other thing that you can do is make the layers progressively darker, so almost like you're looking down a hole. Now you can go a bit mad, and there is that very slight possibility that that might be me, because I do have hands that are fairly heavy. My hands are heavier than the average heaviness, so I'm just going to put some darker. Remember, there's no point in me doing the whole thing, you're not going to see it, it's just a waste of ink. So I'm just going to go in and make it a bit darker around this area, and then we can build our layers from there. So I don't mind it being darker than this, so maybe a bit more. I think I've used this one for oxide as well, because it looks a little more matte than this would normally go on, so I like that. And then I'm also going to ink the edge, just to emphasize the edges. I'm not going to go over the top, because they are quite dark anyway, because of the substrate that they're on, the craft card. But I am going to put some colour down. So it looks a bit odd now, but what we're going to do is going to now make the next layer and make that darker. But before I do that, I will just cut this out. Now again, don't have to cut it all out. But that's the best kind of fussy cutting, when I don't have to do it all. As you all know, it's not my favourite thing. Although I have got better at it and I'm more patient. There are still some bits on when you get some fancy complicated flowers, I do think, oh, I'm not cutting all of that out, and cut leaves off that maybe should have been on there, but that's simply because I'm lazy. You know what half the problem is? When you've got giant fingers, it doesn't help. Whenever you hold on to something, you can't really see. So let's put this back in and see where we want that. Yeah, so about there is fine. So now I'm just going to peel this off. Is it peelable? Is it a peelable one? It is. Right, so the problem is if I peel it off, it's going to be very flimsy, isn't it? So I'm going to stick it like that, I think. Bring this back in, yep, like that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just peel the bit off the bottom and stick that down. And then go from there. So it's going to be about like that. And then we're going to put a blob of glue on this bit up here. Or we could just peel a bit. That's the other thing. This is wet ink, the Dave. It's probably not going to stick. So that it doesn't peel off the backing, I'm just going to peel a bit off. Okay, and we'll get the... Oh dear. I was going to get the wet glue, and I've just realised where the wet glue is. It's downstairs. So we're going to use the Kalal instead. I would normally use white glue, it's just I don't have any up here. I was doing some mock-ups for some crafting that I'm going to be doing, and so I was sat downstairs cutting them out, making lots of them, to Vic's dismay. Because in theory I was listening to him talk, but in practice I was fussy cutting and sticking my tongue out and maybe hearing some of what he said. I cannot confess to saying that I didn't hear any of it, but I did hear most of it. I just don't ask me what he was talking about. I'm sure we all do that with our partners. Love them as we do, we don't necessarily hear everything that they have to say. And let's face it, I don't expect him to listen to everything I talk about. Sometimes I'm moaning about work or things that have happened or a stressful day or something that's, So yeah, I was downstairs and I was cutting and gluing and sticking and listening, he says in inverted brackets. Inverted commas, even Dave. Which we wasn't talking about the correct usage of punctuation because I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. So, right, let me cut that out and see what I'm doing with it first. So, if it's going to go there, I want to see how much of it you're going to see before I cut the whole thing out. Okay, I'm going to cut down all of this edge down here. It's quite nice this being on craft card, well, craft paper, rather than a white background. It means it won't need inking. Or if it does need inking, it won't need as much inking. There would be a tiny, weeny, little mushroom that might get cut off. I will see how patient I am. Sorry, fully wasn't expecting to have to do fussy cutting for you here, but This is how we roll. So I'm going to just cut round this one, see what else we need to cut out, then go down, maybe down this stem here, around this little one. Oh, try not to cut the little one off. Around the base of this stem, and maybe around this, out, just cut my finger on the back. That's what you get for putting your fingers in the way. I only nipped the top of it, I haven't cut it off, it's not, it's not like you're going to see me like this. Off. Let's see that bit. I've just got to cut around the rest of that mushroom. This is the bit that I have struggled with when I'm going into microscopic territory. Microscopic territory and fat fingers don't work. Don't do that. Don't tear it. My steady hands. A brain surgeon I will not make. Okay, so put this back in here and see what else we need to do. Oh gosh, do I have to cut it all out? I don't have to cut it all out, do I? No, we'll be fine with that. We'll have it like this, I think. Yes. So I'm going to tear this bit off, so I'm not going to need that. And then I'm going to glue that in on there. Now, that's perfectly done, because then I can put that like that. Let's just see whether that's going to be in the right place now. Yeah, so like I say, lots of placing it, moving it, placing it, moving it until you're happy, but it's all part and parcel of it. It's one of those things that's going to be a bit more mindful than you would normally get. You know, you're normally just doing the craft and that sort of thing, and this time you're going to be present in the moment. So it's good for you. Mindfulness is very good for you. It gives you that time out bit. So stuck it down, but I'm not sticking the base of that down because I want that to overlap on this next layer that we're going to put in. Yeah, so I've stuck it to the wrong layer, didn't I? Can I peel it off without it looking ridiculous? I'm not going to rub that too much. Let me put that back on there. Right, okay, let's try this again, Dave. Oh, I just lost my butterfly as well. So we want to have this. Maybe we'll have it differently then. Move that out of the way for a minute. Don't need that layer. Sorry, wasn't paying attention. I was doing mindful. I was doing mindless rather than mindful. So without mind, crafting without minds, or simple minds. Yes, we'll have it like that. I think. Yeah, we'll go for that. So in that case, then this is going to need to be cut out a bit more. Now I could put it back in that layer and leave it as it is and not have to cut it out, but I wanted it on this layer. I think if you put something on every layer, at least one thing on every layer, it gives you a better, it gives you more of a depth. It looks like you're looking down through a portal of some kind, if you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, then you're probably correct. Okay, so I'll put that like that. You are going to see some of this, so this is one thing you can do. Any bits that you know you need to cut off, just draw round that bit, and you know where you need to cut. Then you don't have to cut. You don't want to cut all of this off because this is the thing that's going to kind of anchor it. You just want to make sure that at least that bit beyond that line is going to be cut off. Okay, so I'm going to have that on there, and we're going going to have that. Yeah, okay, so now I need to make this a lighter colour. So I used ground espresso. So maybe go for a walnut stain this time. That's not walnut stain, that's walnut stain, Dave. And let's just see if we can make this, because it's sticky from where I put that. So let's see, does that make it look a little less dark? Maybe I need an extra layer of darkness on this one then. I know I've already done this one. I know that I'm going back over it, but I want to make it a little bit darker than it was. Wasn't happy with its darkness. So maybe that. Yes, that's better. That's better. Okay, so a little bit more on there. And then you just want to put that layer over the top and make sure that you've inked as far as you need. Yep, fine. And then we're going to put, like I say, we're just going to ink this edge. Again, not going to worry too much because it's already cropped quite dark from the layers that we've got. And this is just makes a nice, interesting, you know, you could add this on top of a tag, or you could make it a page in itself, so you could just like sew it into a journal and make it like an interesting aperture. You know how a little bit of interactivity or a nod to the interest elements of things. So move all the bits of paper out of the way, Dave, because we're just going to end up sticking things on that we don't want to do. Inadvertent sticking. Okay, so I've moved that several times now, haven't I? And it keeps wanting to come back. So we're going to put that here. I'm going to put that on here. I think my phone is somewhere around here. No idea where it is, but it's vibrating. No idea. I usually have my watch on, so I can normally tell whether somebody's text messaging me, but so yeah, I'm going to have this maybe like that. Yeah, so we kind of get it from behind this layer, but also on top of this layer. Okay, so like I say, I'm not going to stick it down until I'm happy. So I won't stick it on this layer. Going to cut a little tiny bit off there now that I've decided on my placing. Don't have to do too much to it though. Right, and now we're going to glue this. There is definitely somebody messaging me. Like I say, no idea where it is. It's over there somewhere. Going to have to wait though. So okay, so we're going to say about like that, aren't we? So this is the way that you can do it. You can hold it. If you've got tweezers, you might want to use tweezers. You can kind of hold it like this, place it down, and then just gently lift this layer back off again and hook it from there. Put that on there. So if you've got a bit of overhang, because remember we were having it on a different layer previously, don't worry about that, we can cut that off in a minute. That's stuck down on there, good. Okay, so now we're going to put this layer on and we're going to see what we want on this layer. So we had this, didn't we? Was it on this layer? Oh no, we had the butterfly on this layer. So we had the butterfly here, and we wanted to use our cherry blossom, maybe. Let's put that on and see where we are with that. It's not cherry blossom, is it? It's cherries, Dave. It's cherries. Okay, so yeah, so we're going to go for that. So again, we want to colour this layer before we stick anything down. We want to make this lighter, so maybe we're going to go with vintage photo this time. Use a different dauber this time. And just put a bit of colour on here now. Again, going lighter as we get up to the top surface. And then we're just going to lay that over the top and see whether we like what that looks like. Yes, we do. Yep, I'm just thinking there, up there with this, no, with this dauber. Just needs a bit more. Yep. Right, I think I could do with going a little bit darker than this though, on this layer. Just so that it's got the continuity that we want. We want it to look like it's progressively getting darker, not there's a sudden change in colour. See, this is when your brain starts overthinking the whole thing, Dave, so. Okay, and I know that they're different shades, so. But I also like that as well, because the closer you get to the sunlight, you'll have more of an orange tint to it anyway. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. So we're going to put our butterfly in somewhere. So what I might actually do is I might stick that on here rather than on. Do we want to stick it to there, or do we want to stick it on there? Right, let's see where we want it first, Dave. We want it about there. So I think, yeah, we'll cut the bottom of this bit out. So when I fussy cut, I use this finger to kind of steady the scissors, because my hands aren't very steady. So, oh, and somebody also asked why I have my pinky out all the time. I don't know. I don't know whether my tendon works properly to it, because I can't. There's a lot of things I can't do with my pinky. I can do this, but like if I put my fingers down, I can't put that down without this one coming down with it. So I tend to look like I'm drinking tea all the time, like I'm drinking tea with the Queen. I don't know the Queen, so. Well, I didn't know the Queen. It's past tense. Sorry. God rest her soul. So I'm going to put that there, yeah. And then where did I want my cherry blossom? Where is my cherry blossom? There it is. I want my cherry blossom to be coming in. Do I want it there, or do I want it further back? Oh, it's not there. I don't want it. Want it there, or do I want it? Maybe have it actually under this one, on this layer, in that bit there. So I'm not going to unstick this one at all. Yeah, I'm going to have it like that. I'm not going to unstick this one at all, because it's not going to stick to anything. So, and it's the front surface that I want it to stick with. I'm going to put a bit of this round here. I'm going to put that in, place it roughly where I think I'm going to want it, and then we're just going to have a look and see. Are we happy with that? Yeah, not necessarily happy with the matte of it, but it's fine. Sorry, then we're going to put that over there. I'm going to have the butterfly on there, so I'll put the butterfly on in a minute, and I'm going to ink the front of this. So I think tea dye is obviously the lightest colour I have. Use this one, I think, still. And this one I want it to be all over, because you're going to see this one. Now, obviously, if we've got a already yellowed book page, then that would be perfect. But I'm trying to use up some of the pages that I don't use so much, and I tend to use all the ones that are nicely yellowed because I like the grunginess of them, but not so much on the lighter colours. Although I know that you can stain them yourself, so. There we go. Might go in with a bit of a line down here, which I know I didn't do on the last one, did I? Did I? Can't remember. Go around all around here. Okay, I think I've come back to where I started from. Yep. Cool, and then we're going to bring this back in. We're going to layer this up. And we're going to decide. So we did have these mushrooms somewhere, and I think they were on that layer. I think they were on the front of that layer rather than behind that layer. So that, yes, that's right. So I'm going to firstly cut these out. Just try and talk to you while I'm doing this. I don't have access to Vic's MacBook, so editing videos at the moment is not great. He's working at the moment, so he's at work, and I won't see him until tomorrow, which is fine. I'm well ahead. Today, when I'm recording this, is Sunday, the 26th of February. If it was March, I'd be able to go back in time, because I'll be uploading this before March. No, the 26th of February. Yeah, I believe it is. Anyway, it's Sunday, and this won't get uploaded. Well, it'll be uploaded, but it won't be released for viewing until, I think this is Thursday's edition, or it might even be Saturday's edition. It goes every other day, so one week it's Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and then the following week it goes it goes Sunday, Sunday, every other day, Dave. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It took a lot of working out. So yeah, that's how I do it these days. So I try to get ahead of myself now. And now that I don't do a live, now I know that some people have wanted me to do a live. I still can't trust my voice, and I know I'm talking now. But the good thing is I can go and have a break between recording this way, whereas before I wasn't able to do that, because if I was doing a live I was just talking constantly. I think I'm going to put that there. Let's just put that in and see. Yep, I'm going to put that there, and that way then I can anchor this there. Okay, put that in, and then get my trusty butterfly. I say trusty, but well, of course you're going to trust a butterfly. They're bound to trust a butterfly. The butterflies, they're harmless, Dave. That's why we like them. They're not like moths that do have brains in when they're going yampy. Okay. And I might have tiny bit more foliage and maybe don't want to go too much. Yeah, I quite like that, to be fair, because I didn't like the result of that last time that I did the I might put it on with something different this time. Where is the thing that I was going to put it on with? I don't know, so I'll just use this. So I'm just going to use a bit of my mop-up cloths. I'm going to just dab it on with this instead. Didn't like the brush strokes in it, that's what it was. I'm not going to do the whole thing because you're not going to see it. There we go, that's better. I prefer it stippled, I think. That's what it is. Get that dry. Do a quick drying. I think I'm going to have that in there. Yes, I am. I'm going to do that, Dave. So cut it off because I know I don't need all of that. A bit of glue trail going on there. What's going on with the glue trail? It's going to go in like that. Okay, so I'm just going to peel this back. Hang on, how much? How much are we going to say? We want it to come to about there, don't we? Then I'm going to cut this bit off to here. And you're going to see it to about there. Oh, that has oozed over like everything now. Just going to peel this off now. Well, I say I'm going to peel it off. We might be here a while. Of course, because you're not going to see it, or I can bend it. So bend the front of it. You wouldn't want to bend it, otherwise you end up with like a line down it. But just peel that to roughly where the line is. Cut that off, and then that can stick on there. We're not going to go that far, do we, Dave? We want to be about there. Yep, so I'm just going to stick that bit down. Go. Oh, not happy about that, but you can see that. That needs to come off and get a bit further down. Don't want you to be able to see the bottom of the mushroom. Let's put some more of that on now. So I wasn't paying attention. You guys probably saw that, so kudos to you if you did. So I'm going to have this time have it sticking out over this layer, and maybe stick to that layer as well, and then it just anchors it better. Cool. Okay, so now what you have to do is you now just have to glue the layers together, and literally all you're going to do is you're going to find your bottom layer and kind of just fold it back and just go around. Make sure you don't glue into the bit where the aperture where you can see it. And you just got to layer that down. And then what I did was I did all of the layers on one side, so I didn't have to move it. So stay well this side of the layers. Remember, they get bigger as you go up, so you might think, oh, I can go right up to the edge of there, but no, you'll see that through this layer. So staying well back from the edge. Layer it down. You can always just shimmy it together, or you can just cut it down like I'm probably going to do, and then you can go back to the back layer, put the glue down on that, those edges, press it down a bit, go to this next layer, wherever oh, that was not the back layer, Dave, that was the back layer. And then this final layer. Go and press it down. Now you can cut off any excess. So let's first of all put the lid back on that glue, and then we can cut off this excess. So I am going to use a ruler. There, that's my trusty ruler there, and I'm just going to cut off this edge. Now be very careful when you use a ruler for cutting against. Make sure that you use one with a flat edge to it. And don't press too hard. Better to do more cuts than press really hard and slip with your blade. There you go. That's that bit. Turn it round a bit and cut all of this down so it's nice and straight. There we go. Again, turn it round. All of this. Especially when you've got glued, like laminated layers, when you're gluing two layers together, that's a lamination. If you press too hard down, you end up tending to drag the surface off, whereas if you just cut lightly, it cuts the surface off rather than dragging the surface off. Also, your blade should be sharp. There we go. That's our thing. Now we could have something behind it. You could turn that into, easily turn that into a nice, interesting tag. You know. In fact, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to make it a tag. If I've got one of my corners, I have. I won't be able to hang them back up, will I, Dave? No, you won't. Of course you won't. Okay, so I'm going to put this there. Where are my bigger scissors, Dave? Here they are. Right, it's going to be quite thick to cut through because it's all of those layers. And then this side. Not do it like that, Dave. You'll end up cutting you into your hand, which is not going to go well. There we go. And then we can, of course, let's keep that because that's a nice piece of stuff we can use. Those are pieces we can use. These pieces can just go in the bin. So let me just get my mini bin. Not a mini me. I've got a mini bin, not a mini me. Keep that. It's staying anyway. I know where my phone is now. I've just seen it. It's next to my mini bin. Okay, so pop that there. Move my phone out of the way. Push this back over here. Okay, so this is our, and we'll put a, let's put a slot in the top, I think. Yeah, about there. Who says? There we go. Cool, there we go. So that's our interesting aperture tag. So anyway, I hope you give that a try. Just something a bit different, something to try that adds just a bit of interest, doesn't it? So, and yes, so thank you for watching. I hope you'll give it a go, and if you do, please let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with anybody you think might be interested to see it. Please consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next video. So thank you very much for watching, people. I will see you all very soon. Remember, I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. And I'll see you all very soon. Take care, folks. See you soon. Bye-bye.